see something that could definitely be improved, do you just complain or do you try to change it? One Seattle teenager came down very firmly on the side of changing it, and he got the positive attention of city officials as a result. Here to explain is Roosevelt High School junior Joe Mangan. Welcome. How are you doing? So this all started, you obviously go to Roosevelt. It's near a busy street. There's kind of a traffic mess. Describe what it's like.
Well, basically right now the street's just not marked very well, and it's almost confusing as to whether it's one lane or two lanes, and it's just kind of unnaturally wide. And during lunch, a lot of students go off campus to buy food, and the sidewalks are too narrow, so there's always someone walking behind their friends kind of on their own. And there's just also just not enough safe crosswalks, and there's not enough space to wait on the corners of intersections. So I just noticed just a lot of things that I thought that needed to be changed, and I just felt like nothing was changing about it over the 3 years that I was at Roosevelt, so I just decided to take things into my own hands. So.
Which I love. What did you do?
Well, there's this software called SketchUp, and we had it on my school computers in my elementary school, so I've been using it for a while now.
It's called SketchUp?
Yes.
Okay.
It used to be on my Google, but now it's its own software, and since I was familiar with it, I just had SketchUp on my computer, and I just opened that up one day and just started designing. So
designing a solution to all of this.
Yeah.
So how did you even begin? I mean, I wouldn't even know how to begin with the schematics of what existed.
Yeah, it was definitely complicated to start. I had to figure out, first of all, how wide the street was, which wasn't easy. I eventually came upon a city plan that had the width of the road and everything, the dimensions and everything. And
so you had to do research all the way to get to the plans.
Basically,
okay.
Yeah.
And what are we looking at here?
That's an overview image of everything I was proposing. So,
I mean, this looks like a professional has drawn this up. This is awesome. So what are you suggesting? What are we seeing here?
Well, I proposed a few things. I proposed a streetcar on 65th as opposed to a bus, and I opposed just in the area surrounding the high school to use bricks instead of just regular road paving.
Why?
Well, it just, first of all, just instinctively slows down drivers, which I think is important because sometimes I'll be eating lunch in one of my friend's cars, and we've had people drive past us going so fast that our entire car was rocking side to side.
Wow, okay.
So I thought that was definitely important. Also, I proposed a raised cycle track as opposed to just being on the street level. I proposed to raise it up to the sidewalk level and separate it from drivers by a planting strip and parking. It's very common in cities like Amsterdam. I went there 2 summers ago, and I was just very impressed with how great their bike system was.
They manage tons of bikes.
Yeah.
So where else did you learn what you needed to know to try to make these proposals?
I just spend a lot of time, I guess, researching about city planning. I really like Jeff Speck. He's an East Coast city planner, and he has a book called The General Theory of Walkability. And I don't know, just something about it I find really interesting. So I just spend a lot of time watching videos and TED Talks and things like that.
So you have kind of an engineering mind, city planning, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you took this to who?
Well, when I finished the design, I sent it into the city SDOT, and I also sent it into a few news publications like The Urbanist and Seattle Bike Blog and the Cascade Cycle Club, and also a Safe Streets advocate. He also ran for mayor, but and it ended up getting way more attention than I thought it would. So
you thought you were just shooting it out there into the universe.
Yeah.
So what kind of response did you get?
Well, the Seattle Bike Blog published an article and declared my design better than the city's, and then
better than the city.
Yeah, and then an article that I wrote got published in The Urbanist, and then following that, GeekWire contacted me and wrote an article about that, which that article ended up getting the attention of the school board director, Zachary DeWolf, and also Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, and the software that I use, SketchUp. So that was insane. And then King 5 got in contact with me, and I was on the nightly news recently, and now I'm here.
The pinnacle, obviously, is New Day, though,
Yes,
right? Wouldn't you say?
definitely, absolutely.
Oh, without any question. So when you started getting kind of responses from like Pramila Jayapal and some of these people, did you realize, oh, this is not just a small thing. People are actually paying attention to my ideas, and there must be something in here that's new and different that they're seeing.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I would say that my design is more idealistic. I would say it's less. I think that the city is somewhat restrained in cost, so that's somewhat part of my proposal is just to invest in this area. It's going to be near a future light rail station, a high school, and all these apartment buildings are going in. So my design is part of my proposal is basically just invest in the area
Right.
and
Thinking
good
ahead.
infrastructure. Yeah.
Which is a great idea. Plus, you're borrowing from lots of different places and their solutions
Mm-hmm.
for similar problems to what we have. This is going to be so good on your college app. This is like going to be major on your college app. What are you planning to do? Where do you want to go to school? And what do you think you'd like to do?
Well, I'm interested in political science and economics, and city planning too. I have a few other interests like journalism or architecture. I think I'm mainly interested in city planning because it's a combination of politics and economics and architecture. So it's just kind of everything that I'm
Yeah.
interested in one. So, but I'd like to be close to Washington, D.C. just because of politics, basically. So I'm looking at colleges on the East Coast mainly, like Middlebury in Vermont and Boston University and
We have
American
this
and-
really
yeah.
good school up here in Seattle that you might consider so we can keep you close to home. Good luck. Thank
Great.
you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
It's
you for having
great
me.
to see something like this happening, and we appreciate your fresh ideas. If you want to take a look at Joe's full proposal, it's super interesting. Just check our homepage. We put it up there for you. Up next, a delicious Kung Pao chicken recipe from the brand new cookbook, Chinese Soul Food. We'll be right back.